Alright, so what is the deal with this rape issue? I mean, this Nick Bliskiness video, they're like, when you're gonna cure all crime too, Mr. Smarty Pants. Or heavy traffic ahead is like, well, where's the epidemic? Well, heavy traffic ahead, since when do we only fucking talk about the important stuff? But it is sort of an epidemic. The United States is in the top, it's in the top 10 list for the number of rapes. It's like 25 times greater, something like that, than Canada. How is that possible? Is Canada doing eugenics? Stopping rape is like eugenics. It reminds me of eugenics. If you want to cure rape and cure crime and cure war and cure. The way I find out what all you guys think is you rarely just tell me, it seems. What I do is I tell you things and I see what you notice. I put 10 things and I see what people react to. That's my main method for my most detailed, fine scan. You guys don't pick up on, just obvious things that I stated over and over. You know, you're still acting like I'm saying men are basically just rapists inside. I don't say that. I don't believe that. I've claimed myself to not at all have any urges like that. But if I say, by golly, my group of men in the U.S. might need a little bit of an attitude adjustment. Oh, it's Stop Police. No, Stop Police is legally trying to enforce something like that. It's not Thought Police if I'm telling you what I think. In this discussion, that's the purpose of it, shitheads. Not putting a law on you. And you're so paranoid. Like all feminists are saying all men are rapists, but I don't say that. But you just, well, but some people do, and they're really powerful. Okay, where are the video makers, huh? Well, why can't you find these examples just straightforward? You have to go to some there's a lot of nutty tenured professors. That's what tenure is. It's one of its side effects, and it's the point. Because sometimes you could have someone that, they're just pursuing their own strain of reasoning. They've proven they're competent teachers and stuff. They've got to this, or they should have. Now they're tenured and they say whatever. They write the Bell theorem, they write whatever. The Bell curve book or whatever. They're all over. They're not that hard to find. Look among the politicians and see. The pesky dames, I don't see them saying, oh, men are rapists. They do have a little bit of a PC idea about what kinds of words to use and stuff. So the fuck what? This is where we're supposed to be arguing that, geniuses. So, another thing that it's just funny. I mean, I get almost all of my information about what everybody's thinking from comparing and contrasting. If I can't imagine. Now, I understand people might think, oh, it's naive. You think you can cure war. That's the wrong word. Fine. I'm using a word like that on purpose. Because, to work on curing cancer, you don't have to think you'll solve every cancer. I mean, I consider that we cured polio, but the vaccine itself gives people polio. So there's still polio in the world, and it's the fault of the vaccine. Yeah, but so is the fact that it's 1 in a million instead of whatever it was, 1 in, thousands. It was hundreds. I don't know. It was pretty bad. It seems like everybody knew somebody with polio, it seems like, from that generation. So, the dream to cure something that's been around. I mean, look, laws and cultural discussions, both very different domains, obviously. But, we can't speak of cures. The law is not here to Often people are like, well, it's natural this or that, or it's just a crime. Of course people are going to commit crimes. You can't act like it's a cultural thing. Well, I mean, that's not, the law isn't here to say, oh, well, it's natural, therefore it's okay. No, I mean, it's some of the things that naturally happen. If we don't like them, I mean, you can say stealing is natural and fine. So what? So I can't say, well, let's put an end to stealing. And if I did, you might think I was naive. But would you say I hated all people? Because those are the people that sometimes thieve? I mean, and you guys, you always miss, like, the sympathies I offer with your position. For example, men can be raped too. Right? So curing rape would help those victims as well if it was possible, just the very idea of it. You don't care that I've acknowledged that. I also think that the domestic abuse or attitudes towards it are wrong. And I actually think you could call those patriarchal. I've also tried to describe to you morons what is meant by the patriarchy. The sense in which, yes, the feminists are getting this wrong, there's a bigger picture, but also in which it's scientifically studyable phenomena. You could disagree with it on the terms in which it's actually offered instead of making up your own shit. Like, oh, trying to stop rape and change people's attitudes is like eugenics. We should be able to think whatever we want. Well, you are able to think whatever you want, and I'm able to tell you I think you should change, and if I could convince you, you get to change if you want. Not wanting to have eugenics laws doesn't mean that we can't give each other opinions on how to make the world a better place, which is fucking obvious. So why you protest so much about this rape issue? It's not an epidemic. Just because we're out of all the countries in the world, we have some of the highest per capita rape statistics in the U.S. doesn't mean it's a problem, you eugenicist. No, I think you protest a bit much on something here that really could be delved into. Now, my problem culturally with this whole thought police thing that you guys take, because you evidently have thoughts you feel are under attack, and yet you're not pro-rape, but there's some thought of yours that's under attack by me saying just, we could cure the urge to rape. It's at least an idea we could go in that direction. Like, a lot, we could definitely have room to improve it. We know that as a fact. As an empirical fact, we have room to improve it when we're in the top 10 per capita rapist countries. Then we know we could do better than that, right? But it's not important, it's natural. Just a natural amount, not epidemic. Why did it have to be an epidemic? And yeah, I think, you know, when you have these kinds of number of people, 90,000 rapes a year and stuff, yeah, oh, but it's gone down in the last 10 years, yes, and that's good. I don't really think it's your attitude that's helping it go down. I think it's the fact that there's more people's attitudes like me. People are getting their urge to rape cured. And since that's happening, you're saying it's impossible. And we shouldn't talk about it. But my real problem culturally on the what people think thing is this phenomena where a girl gets raped at a party and then is slut-shamed about it. Where people could be at that party and do nothing. Somebody said, those weren't rapists, they were just privileged kids. Oh, well, guess what? If you want to ask me, who has the rape culture where it's really like an identifiable thing, not just criminal culture? Somebody must have it because there's the criminals, and if they have criminal friends, they're talking about it, how to do it. It's sorry, it could be called the culture. But our culture is the jock and frat culture. I'm sorry, I went to college. There's always lots of rape scandals and party rape, and too much smoke for there not to be any fire. And then when you see what happens, and if you compare what happens in the public eye and the school newspaper with if you know those people at all or about them, it's very clear. Yeah, we have a rape culture and the jock culture and the frat culture, It's a fact of fucking life. You're in denial. And we see it expressed all the time. There's multiple stories a year, my whole life, of this kind. And they're dismissed because it's party girls, what they expect, and this kind of bullshit. That is part of a culture. It's a cultural attitude, a shared attitude among various people. Only some of whom actually end up raping someone. Only some of whom who would even, let that happen. There's many people doing the slut shaming, doing the you shouldn't have been out at night, doing the this and the that kind of argument that themselves wouldn't rape. That's culture. That's culture. And your big fat denial about it. And that's why your country is one of the worst of the United States, is one of the worst rapist countries in the fucking world. So, yeah, you're in denial, right? You're acting like this isn't even an issue at all. Why are you bringing it up? You must be a eugenicist with the school marmish attitude that you can solve problems. This is just the way it is. Really? Why is there a 25-fold difference between Canada and the United States? Do we have that big a difference? What is it? The different religions? What is that exactly? And then you're going to call me misandrist, you guys, many of you. I haven't even called you misogynist. I'm just trying to talk about the issues. Yeah, you got an emotional sensitivity there that, I don't know, it just looks like it needs to be lanced to me.